Good morning, everybody. We are about to take a detailed look at these smokeless fire pits from Vevor. The one on the bottom is 15.8 inches in diameter and about 15.5 inches tall, and at the time of recording, it sells for about $80. I think Solo Stove is probably the most well-known name brand of these smokeless fire pits. The size of this one from Vevor would most closely compare with the Solo Stove Ranger, which currently sells for about $200. I've never used a Solo Stove, so I can't do a hands-on comparison, but let's find out if this one from Vevor is a good buy for $120 less. I've also got the 6-inch tabletop version from Vevor, which would most closely compare with the Solo Stove Mesa, an $80 fire pit versus the $30 from Vevor. All right, let's start with the unboxing. It's a pretty simple unboxing since there's not a ton of components. We've got the fire pit, and then at the bottom is a pull-out ash collection tray. And then this thing, and then the poking stick, which I'm not sure why it was packed so thoroughly. But I got it. And then we'll open the 6-inch one as well. It comes in a carrying case, that's cool. Ooh, they sent me an orange one. I love orange. Okay, it's got one of those things. Some fold-out legs on the bottom, that's good. Great. So taking a closer look at the 15-inch one, we've got the included poking stick. And then again, this thing. Lots of holes for airflow. And then holes on the bottom for the ash to go into the tray, I'm assuming. And then here's the pull-out ash drawer, so you don't have to pick it up and dump the pit upside down. Here's a little walk around, and then let's test it out. Definitely not the best at starting campfires. Usually Leslie's the one to start the fire, so feel free to leave any tips in the comments. But I did get it. It's starting to get pretty hot. At first, when I was trying to get it going, there was a lot of smoke, but it's already died down quite a bit. I think part of the reason I was having trouble getting this fire going is the wood was a little bit wet. Even in my firewood box there, some of the water from the winter had got through, so. But now it's going nice. Let's see, at first when I unboxed it, I thought the pit was kind of big. I was thinking about, how much space it's gonna take up in the truck and stuff, but now that I'm actually using it, I would not want it any smaller. So I think the size of this one, for me, is perfect. And right now, the way I'm leaning over it like this, it's pretty hot. So I can still feel it pretty good if I am sitting back a little bit further. Although I'm still probably only a couple feet away from it, but this is pretty good right now because it's cold out. I'll be interested to see how clean it gets when it's done. I know it's got that ashtray in the bottom, so hopefully everything will just come right in there and it'll be easy to clean. But that's something I'm interested to find out. Now that it's actually going, it's not too smoky. It must have something to do with the holes, with the airflow. Not exactly sure. But that is definitely the worst part of sitting around a campfire. It feels like it always follows me too. Like I'll move my chair and then smoke just follows me. So right now this is kind of nice. I've been out here almost 2 hours now, and the fire's going out, so I'm gonna let it go out. And the pit itself gets pretty hot, but I tested the door handle for the ashtray does not get hot, so you can still open that when the fire pit's hot. But I'm probably just gonna let it go out and leave it out tonight and then deal with cleaning the ash and stuff in the morning. So I will see you tomorrow morning. All right, we better test out the 6-inch guy as well. I'd say this one's probably a little bit more packable. I can't think of a better way to make s'mores if you're not having a big campfire than just firing this thing up. I can already feel some warmth from it. Definitely would need some tiny firewood. The website did say you can use logs or wood pellets, which I don't have any pellets. And I don't know if I really have any small enough wood logs, but I'm gonna go see if I got anything. I think this is the smallest log I've got, and it's probably too big, but let's try it. I am not to smother it. Yeah, I think I'm gonna need some smaller firewood for this thing. All right, let's break down my thoughts from my first use. So starting with the cleanup, most of the ash did go into the ashtray. However, when I picked it up, I could still see a little bit of dust that kind of stayed in there or stayed underneath. So if I'm transporting it, I would imagine the bumps from the road would leave some dust in the car. I think it would have been nice if it either came with or if there was an option to purchase a carrying case. So that way you can just drop it in there, and if any loose ash or debris does kind of fall through the bottom, then it gets in the case and then you can dump that out later. The Solo stove does come with a carrying case. However, I don't know if that's really worth $120 more. I did do a search on Amazon, but it was hard to find a case that was like designed for the size of this one. But I'm sure if I looked a little bit harder, I could probably find something that would work. And those seem to range from around $20 to $40. Some other things that I wanted to know before I got it. One, what is the heat distribution like? So last night when I was testing it out, I found that when it was really blazing, I could obviously feel the fire pretty good. And then when it started to die down a little bit, I felt like I had to kind of lean forward in my seat and hover over the fire pit to really feel it more. I mean, I think if it was a wider pit and maybe a little bit lower, the heat distribution would have been better. And of course, Vevor does have multiple sizes. They actually have a 15-inch diameter that's 12 inches tall. So that might have made a difference. They also have some that are even wider and not as tall. So I think this one's pretty good for what I'd be looking for size-wise for bringing it with me camping. I think if I was going to do it all over again, I would either stick with this size or I'd get the 15-inch diameter that's 12 inches tall. Number two, is it actually smokeless? And I was thoroughly impressed. Like I said yesterday, when I started getting it going, there was definitely some smoke. But once the fire really got going and it was blazing, it was relatively smoke-free. So yes, it is. Number three, I was wondering if the bottom would get too hot and if it would burn what's underneath. Of course, I am using it on gravel, but in this case, in my first test, it was just fine. Nothing underneath seemed to burn or anything like that. Number four, can you use it for cooking? Vevor doesn't seem to have any accessories specifically designed for this fire pit for cooking, but I would imagine it wouldn't be that hard to figure out some sort of grate to put on it and be able to cook on it. Well, that's about all I can think of for now. I will definitely be bringing this with me depending on the trip we're going on if we have enough space. Regarding the size, I think this one is perfect for bringing camping or overlanding. I think it's big enough where the fire will disperse enough heat, but it's not too big that it would be too challenging to bring on a trip and have enough space for it to fit in the truck most of the time. If you have any questions or want to share your experience with this fire pit or one similar, please leave a comment below. If you found this video helpful, even just a little bit, please subscribe to my channel. That's it for now. Thanks for watching. See you next time.